I've always just wanted to be the center of attention. And so whether it was the morning after pill, condoms, lube, I'd be like, hi, I'd like to pay for this. Hello, anybody?
What's
Laura Windvogel. A woman. Broken. As a woman in South Africa, I feel unsafe. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry, I'm quite like depressive about it. Because I think they understand a vital need, which is that legislature, and reaching people as early as possible is the only way out of the mess that we're in. I always knew it was kind of like a thing that happens to you, and then you're in a new level of your life. My mother was never very closed up about it, so I mean, if she had a period, you would know. And I remember everyone was watching Oprah, and then I got mine. It's very stigmatized, and so obviously the whole thing of people having to drop out of school because financially they can't be prepared for their period is a massive thing that we have to address. But I also think that something that I learned later on in my life is to draw patterns from my period and to understand it. And so things like apps help you to stay track of it and also to understand how your body works. For instance, I got sick at the end of last year, and I would never have known unless but I had an app, and the app showed me, that your constant is, say, an average of 4 days, 5 days, and for some reason, randomly on 1 month, it went down to 2. And that's how I was able to just go to the doctor and know what's happening with me. And I think that a lot of people they're not clued up about their period, so it kind of just comes and goes as it pleases. But once you can understand how the pattern works, I think it's quite freeing. Also emotionally, because then you're also emotionally ready for it. I've always just wanted to be the center of attention. And so whether it was the morning after pill, condoms, lube, I'd be like, hi, I'd like to pay for this. Hello, anybody? So it doesn't matter for me if it's an embarrassing product. I'd go and buy it again. The stigma around menstruation it goes back to biblical times. It goes back to a woman having to be away from her people when she's going through it, or to someone saying, are you moody because of that? It's just the negative connotation of it overall, through the ages and through the times. It's never been something that people think is quite a natural thing of life that's just supposed to be embraced. It's kind of perceived as an obstacle. Which I can kind of agree with that, because it's not something that I want necessarily every month, but it is something that reminds you that you're alive and that you're healthy and that things are working. And so I think maybe just the negative way of thinking about it is a huge stigma. Yeah, I went to Afrikaner school, so they took us to sex camp, which is kind of like vlakplaas, but for sex kind of stuff, like where they give you a little printout of the body, and then they ask you, where have you been changing lately? Color it in, or circle it, like, that basic kind of stuff. But I think sex ed should, it places great emphasis on what's that word that I don't care about, that sort of, abstinence. They put a lot of emphasis on abstinence and not on reality. And I think what is a great mystery of life is that you would put men and women together at their most hormone-driven time. You would put them together in what's fundamentally a makeshift prison, like school, and then you'd expect them not to do things with each other when everybody can taste each other's testosterone in the air when they get to school, you know. So yeah, that's a very big mystery to me, that we would teach kids abstinence in a time when we should really teach them to be realistic and to be logical, and to also attach a kind of importance to how we share our pussies. It doesn't have to be how is life every day. I've discovered this new thing where not having sex is like having sex. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I really think... What was the question?
What do you wish they would teach young people
in sex ed? Sorry, yes. What I think they should teach people is to be realistic. And to know about your choices, whether it's contraceptives, whether it's abortion, whether it's realistically thinking about what does it mean to keep this child? What does it emotionally mean for me, financially, economically? What does it mean to keep this thing? That will also connect me for the rest of my life to this other person that I might hardly know, or I know very little about, or we're both 16 and we've never had that much life experience yet, but now I've made this very life-altering decision. And I think people just need to know about their choices and be able to frankly speak to people without feeling judged. When I was raised, my mother would, because my mother was a high school teacher, and so for her it was like, if you're pregnant and you come home, I will kill you. Whereas for my father, he was like, always come home, just talk to us about it, you know. And I think that's the two coins of kind of like the seesaw I was raised with. Whereas, yes, please come speak to us, but at the same time, don't make stupid decisions, so you do have to come speak to us. I think realistic is maybe something they can add to sex ed. I have lots of good memories of where women's energies have come together and really healed each other. Last year for Women's Day, people wanted me to phone in and do interviews on radio and stuff. And it was just after the whole BONGEKA thing. And I had been spending the whole year talking so much about violence against women and children and all of these things. And I was just so empty and like just full of it. And I was like, you know what, let's just all go somewhere. And we just got drunk, we went and had champagne and breakfast in a place, and we just talked shit for literally 5 hours about men. It was amazing. And then, a really funny thing is that for this year Halloween, I couldn't imagine anything worse than the patriarchy, or scarier than the patriarchy. So I wanted to have a big Halloween party where I wanted to make a giant penis effigy, and then together we hold hands and we just all stab it from like all different angles. I was watching a lot of Sabrina at that time. But then Bongela, shout out, said that what if I create a rift in the universe and like something very bad happens because of that? Because that is the actual power of a lot of women together. We do have the power to do that. And she kept telling me that vaginas are for creation, not destruction. So I should think carefully. So I didn't do it. Instead, I had a very chilled sharing session or whatever. But Halloween comes every year, just so you may remember. No, weirdly enough, and I don't want to speak too soon, but my period has never snuck up on me. I always just go like this, and then I know to go to the bathroom. Like my body sends me like a signal where I literally have like 30 seconds or whatever. Or I just have a feeling, you know, and then it comes.